Hey, I got some exciting, fun stuff today for you guys. I got a new project car here. I'm gonna go pick it up and bring it back here, and yeah, stay tuned. You're about to find out the new project. It's about to be good. It's gonna be a long-term project. It's gonna be a lot of work, but it's gonna be worth it. Let's get to it. I'm here in the warehouse, and the car is in this crate. And this crate is huge. Hoping that isn't a problem. That board's hanging down. Probably go a little bit that way. All loaded up, about to head to my house. Okay, so now it's here. Now I gotta get it to there. Holy fuck, this is gonna take a while. Well, there's a car in there. Okay, I got most of the wood off. We're getting there. You can see there's a car in there, so that's good. Now I need to figure out how to get the framework off. It looks like it's all bolted together, so I just gotta take all the bolts off and get the cage off of there. All right, got it in here, got it on my hoist, got it all unpacked, all the parts, crazy amount of parts. Gonna have to move all this stuff inside. I'm not gonna be able to work on this thing, there's so much crap in here. Biggest thing was getting all the metal and all the wood off of there, throwing it in the back of my truck. I'm gonna try to get rid of all that tomorrow, hopefully. But hey, it's in here, it's in one piece. There's a couple pieces here and there that I saw that kind of probably are gonna need some attention, but I mean, most of it is fiberglass stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of fiberglass work that's gonna have to be done, obviously. That's gonna be the biggest part of the whole build. Like, one of the things that was kind of sucks is one of the rotors showed up and the bag was just full of water. So it's all rusty now, which really sucks. But it is what it is. That and this thing is just like, it's covered in mold. It's so gross. Ugh, I'm gonna have to go over this whole thing and just clean every last bit of it because it's just fucking gross. Okay, so let's go over what it is and a little bit of the story about it. So this is a K1 Attack. It comes from a company called B Racing. They're out of the Czech Republic. And basically there's a bunch of different versions of this kit that you can get. You can spec it out however you want. They have one that is based on like an earlier Accord. They have one based on a later Accord. One for like an RSX EP3. There's one for a Toyota MR2, and then there's one for a Tesla drivetrain. This one specifically is for an 03 to 07 Accord. That does not mean that it uses like all the parts from that. It just uses some of the parts. It's basically, for this, it's going to use like the engine, transmission, you know, the wiring, shifter cables, all that kind of stuff. And then it's going to use, it uses like the steering column, steering rack, and whatnot for that. And then it's like some of the suspension parts for like the rear. It's using the early model, earlier Accord, like 90-93, a front subframe in the rear with the suspension off of that Accord and brakes for the rear. And then for the front, it uses K1's own stuff. There's like a big brake kit, and then there's like their own uprights and the cantilever suspension that's going to be sticking to the hood, all that stuff, which I have, you know, in this mass of parts over here. So on another day, I'll probably be going over like, you know, what it took to get here and like all the prices and all that stuff and options and whatever. But for the moment, I mean, basically now you know, this car is here. It's going to be running a K20A2 I've got out of a Acura RSX Type S. I've got a K24 Accord transmission. Basically the reason I went that route is it's much easier to find an 03 07 to Accord than it is to find an RSX or an EP3. Like, it's just, K20 transmissions are so hard to find these days. It's just so impossible. I mean, it's just, everybody and their mom, you know, needs a K20 tranny for some K20 swap or whatever. And people just kind of neglect the fact that the K24 tranny exists. And it honestly works fine. I don't know why people talk shit on them, but, you know, honestly, I'm okay with that. Keep talking shit on them, guys, because I will just keep gathering them up. Just keep those prices cheap. But yeah, they work perfectly fine. I've used them in high horsepower stuff before, and they work great. They're really good for boost. They have really long gears. So for this one, I mean, it's going to be making quite a bit of power once it gets to, you know, that point, because it's going to be turbo, and I plan on turning it up pretty high. Obviously, at some point, I'm going to need a built transmission, but that's what I have for right now. It's going to be running Haltech, the Elite 1500, which is actually in the Mini Cooper right now. I basically borrowed it for that project to get that thing driving. So I'm going to have to buy something for that. I'm kind of leaning towards maybe Fuel Tech. Not that matters right now, but I've also got like a Haltech dash for this that's going to be going in there. You know, in this kit, there's a lot of parts that I already have, and some of the parts that already came with the kit. I parted out an 03 to 07 Accord already, so I have a lot of, you know, I have like the steering rack, and I have the steering column and all that stuff. I bought the Hasport engine mounts, so I have a great deal of parts to use with this car. So I think you know, once I get going on it, I should, you know, have some relatively, you know, decent progress for a while. Once I get to the bodywork section, I mean, there might be a lot of videos where I'm just sanding on one panel and I don't get a whole lot accomplished. So, you know, be prepared. There's going to be some good videos and some, you know, some okay videos. I'm going to do my best, but obviously the bodywork is going to be the biggest situation with this car when it comes down to it, because I mean, you know, I'm not really a body guy. I've painted cars before. I've worked with fiberglass, you know, so I'm not a complete noob. But I'm also not a pro either, you know, by trade. I'm an auto tech, so I know mechanical stuff. So that part's easy to me. Body work, you know, there's probably some stuff I'm gonna have to buy. Like, for instance, like I don't even own a DA sander, and I know I need to get something good. Like, I've got some orbital sanders and stuff, but they're not really meant for this. So there's a lot of, you know, tools I'm gonna have to buy, and, you know, a lot of materials I'm gonna need down the road. But for the moment, you know, at least it's here, and you know, that was the biggest step, because that was a huge pain. But I think you know, for the moment, now that the car's in here, I think I'm gonna go through and, you know, inventory the parts that I have, make sure that everything is here, nothing's broken, because I did run into a situation with, you know, one of the brake rotors that had been sitting in the bottom, and there was water that got in the crate, and now that rotor is very rusty. So I think the company might be helping me out with that. If not, I think what I might do is give it an electrolysis bath and get rid of the rust, because it doesn't look pitted. It mostly looks like surface, so I might be okay. It's hard to say. And then the other problem that I have is this car is like totally covered in mold right now. Let's see if I can find a good spot to show you the mold. It's pretty gross. Oh, here's a good spot. You can see it on this tape. There's just mold and crap just all over this thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over the whole thing. I'm gonna try like kind of a water bleach mix and go over it, see if I can get some of this mold off of here. That, and I'm gonna start, when I start inventorying these parts, a lot of those have mold on them too, so I'm gonna start cleaning those, and I'm gonna start putting some of the stuff in another room, because I don't have a lot of room in my garage right now. It's really hard to get stuff done when there's this much crap in the way, especially since there's a lot of fiberglass parts on the ground, and I'm very afraid I'm gonna step on them and break them, so I wanna put them somewhere safe. So I'm gonna get to cleaning things up and moving things around and see what I can get accomplished. Well, I got all the parts cleaned and moved in my basement. I basically went through and like every single piece of fiberglass and whatnot, I went through and I cleaned it with that bleach, and then I did soap and water, and then I wiped it down until it was dry, and everything seems to be okay. And I started going through, what the pieces that I had and kind of matching them up. I noticed it seems like they're all numbered, but I don't have any of the instructions, so I don't really know what goes to what. I mean, I have a pretty good idea. I mean, I know that this is the fan shroud, and these are obviously wheel well liners and stuff, but I kind of figured out number 5. Seems like all the 5s are suspension and brakes, because I've got these are some of the pieces that bolt onto the coilovers. You can see those there. And then I got there's some ball joints and some tie rods. Here's some of the uprights. Bunch of other miscellaneous stuff. Starting to kind of, figure out what's what, and start moving forward. I think that's going to do it for the first video, though. I kind of ran out of time because I was messing with the nitrous too much on the Mini and the Exo set. So I didn't quite get, this thing all cleaned off of the mold. It's not going to hurt this. I was just more concerned about breathing in mold, I suppose. But it's been pretty nice, so I've been able to kind of leave the door open at times, and that's, that's helpful. But yeah, hopefully, next week I can get to that, in addition to, some of the other things that I want to do. I think it looks like the first thing I'm going to have to do to this is actually I'm going to have to strip all the bodywork off of it, and I'm going to have to actually flip this thing upside down and put the floor in. So I think it seems like that's probably going to be the first order of business when I actually get to legitimately working on it, which is going to be kind of a pain, because I got to figure out how to get all this bodywork off, which I'm probably going to need some extra people to help me, and then I got to flip it over. My thoughts at the moment are I have a spare mattress we were going to throw away, and I might put a mattress down and flip the chassis onto that. That way I don't damage anything, and that might be the easiest approach. I'm still kind of leery of taking the bodywork off because I know some of them fit really, snug in there, and I just worried about breaking them. But yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to attempt to get to next weekend if I can get some people to help me. If not, maybe I'll work on something else. I don't know. But yeah, this is going to be, this is going to be a long project, guys. I mean, stay tuned. I'm going to try and get out, build videos as often as I can. I can't promise that I can have a build video on all of my cars every weekend, but, I'm trying to do what I can, basically trying to put out, some sort of content as much as I can. And, hopefully you guys stick with it. This K1 Attack, it's going to be a good build. I can't wait to, really dig into it and start making some good progress. But I mean, honestly, the car's here. That's a huge win. I mean, it was such a pain in the ass, like I talked about, and all that stuff. But hey, here it is. It's mine. It's in the garage. Hell yeah. So yeah, until next time, peace out.